cinematic. Hello everybody, welcome to ohmTown Daily, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. Today is April 27th, 2024. We might be acting a little weird because we were just in our time machine for yesterday's episode today. So we're giving today's news tomorrow, and no, I don't know, it's all really confusing once we're out of the time machine. Anyway, it is April 27th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 118. Our articles today are my titles, not the titles that are actually from the articles. So we're going to do this rundown real quick. Bear with me. Virtually there. Something's bugging me. Without the Riker maneuver. 3-body problem for Daimler. Billions of bugs. Billions and billions of bugs. Better spin up another server then. James Earl Jones is Thulsa Doom. Trains want some more attention. A helpful honeypot boo-boo. And a home with an FAA approved airstrip. Next.
As one does.
Yes. Who doesn't have an FAA approved airstrip? I can take that in so many different directions. Oh, by the way, my camera is now zoomed back a little bit more, so it makes my hands really big. But there's more light around my little pixel board back there. It's pretty neat. I'm looking in the camera. You know, okay, I'm Merwatt, and up there and around is the sentient AI that's actually throwing me error messages saying, get on with the damn show.
Good evening, hometown citizens.
Wait. Say something again.
Good evening, hometown citizens.
Oh, okay, it is linked. All right. Yeah, I didn't think your visualizer was actually linked. That's okay, though. Let's get into the show. I'm not going to do transitions. It is ohmTown Daily News Show, though, powered by ohmTown.com. Go over, become a citizen, then like and subscribe here on Twitch, twitch.tv/ohmTown. Then go over to YouTube and follow us there, subscribe there, like. Like is the only way we're going to get discovered over on YouTube. Discoverability on Twitch is basically if you're, I don't know, you have to swim around in the ocean and then get bit by my show, apparently, or our show. Sorry about that, sentient AI. Please don't delete me. Let's get into the show. First article is over in Stock Marketeers. Virtual reality could make seeing your favorite band less expensive if these artists have their way. I am up for this.
If this is actually your band, I think this might be brilliant.
Yeah. So, heavy metal band Avenged Sevenfold and rapper T-Pain are among a growing number of artists who are using virtual reality to connect with their fans at a more affordable price. And I think it's freaking brilliant. Because I can get the immersiveness. No, I'm not getting the social aspects of it, of sitting there partying with my friends before the concert, at the concert, after the concert. Most of the time, I don't know. What I want to do is I want to hear high quality concert music. The production level changes because studio and concert isn't the same. The acoustics are different. But if I can get it streamed from them, produced to what they expect the audience to hear, I would have a superior listening experience. The soundstage would be much more robust. I would be able to enjoy the music and the band, and I wouldn't have to worry about slipping on beer or something else.
Or people climbing over you, or
COVID,
talking, or crinkling things.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you hear
That's
crinkling,
true. You probably don't hear that unless it's a quiet concert.
Yeah, like the quiet part between Ray LaMontagne songs. That's when you hear the crinkling. Although, went to a concert once where there was somebody. The place was pitch freaking black. The stands, right? It was a live band. It wasn't really so much of a concert as a live orchestra backing of Lord of the Rings. So anyway, don't judge me on that. I mean, that's true nerd colors, going to see a live orchestra backing of Lord of the Rings. Anyway, some goober sitting next to me had his phone out on blast, not recording it with, the screen dim. The dude was like talking with somebody. And so I ended up going, buddy, you need to put that away or there's going to be a problem. And the guy completely ignored me. So I kind of bumped him and I said, you got to put it away, man. You're ruining it for everybody. It's pitch black in here except for you. Read the room. And then he said something to me, which I basically just, you hear that?
Yes, that's the second time I've heard it.
Yeah, it's basically just like that throughout the concert, right? And so they actually kicked him out. And it wasn't just me. Everybody else was like, yay. Yeah, the person was a real tool. Anyway, just imagine avoiding all of that, right? Because you put your VR headset on, you have high quality headphones on if your VR gear isn't at parity, So it says, it is meant as a new way to get fans, one artist says. They have a picture of U2's Sphere artwork. If you've never heard of the Las Vegas Sphere, just do a search. It's spectacular inside and out. They were selling for seats there were their final shows were $800 to $1,000 on average. And that was probably up here in the nosebleed section where you have to bring your own oxygen tanks. But yeah, $115,000.
That's pretty pricey for a concert. And if you're going with anybody, I mean, that's really starting to add up.
Yeah, and it's U2. So I don't know. I would not pay $800 to $1,000. But U2, you could send me a ticket or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6.
Not after that comment.
We lost them as a sponsor a long time ago. Heavy metal band Avenged Sevenfold and rapper T-Pain are among the growing list. Oh, wow. This is a short article. I guess I need to log in more often. I didn't log into this. Anyway.
Right, but I think we get the point here. I think this is good for diversity of attendees. I mean, if it's difficult for you to travel to the concert or access the concert, or whether it's too expensive to go in person, any number of things.
Yep. And so I firmly believe that with technology, you can see the world without leaving your seat. And it's again, not going to be the immersive existence that you might expect in traveling the world. But if you can't afford it, or you don't want to risk it, but you want to see certain places that are no longer easily accessible, or the flaming hoops to access are too high, there is a historical reference point. You have all kinds of video that could have been taken. It can be translated now into a VR experience. I really wish that I sound just like that person from way back, why can't we all just get along, that kind of a thing. So naive, but for crying out loud, I have no ill will towards anybody. All they need to do, everybody just needs to chill and use technology to make life better for everybody involved. But sometimes...
Yeah, but also you have to vocalize that. I mean, it's like it's hard to move in that direction if people aren't talking about it.
Yeah, tell me about it. Okay, well, the article is over at marketwatch.com by John Swartz. If I did not say it, it's in the show notes. You can follow the link and read all about it on your own. Let's keep going. This next article is over in the Mobile channel. Global study shows a third more insects come out after dark.
Okay, that's a little frightening.
Hey, man.
Especially if you live in an area that has a high amount of insects during the day.
Yeah. A groundbreaking study led by Dr. Mark Wong of The University of Western Australia has provided the first global picture of insect activity patterns across the fundamental day-night cycle. I don't know how they got the whole globe, but let's take a look at University of Western Australia. One of the other locations where they know academically that the country wants to kill them. The earth, the insects, the animals, the flora, the fauna, all of it wants to expunge all the other life.
Yes, every dangerous animal story is always out of Australia.
Yeah, pretty much. Like we here in the States have Florida person, Florida man, Florida woman, Florida person. There was actually a Florida dog the other week. There's just some nutty stuff, right? But whenever you hear about the flora or fauna rising up, it's going to come out of Australia. And I haven't been to Australia. I want to go. So through our extensive research, we've finally been able to provide a definitive answer to the age-old question of whether there are more insects out at night than during the day. I have to assume that they are out at night because it's safer that way and they don't have to suffer from heat. Anyway, our global analysis...
But I don't have a good sense of how many are nocturnal. But it makes sense that there would be.
Well, when you step out at night and you hear all of that music, that's them, and it's their nightlife, you know? Right? Boots and pants and boots and pants. Our global analysis not only shows that insect activity rises by a third, 31.4%, which isn't a third, because 33.3 infinity is. Anyway, during the night on average, but crucially reveals key ecological factors driving patterns in insect activity across the earth. Well, they like to party at night. They're night owls. They sleep all day. Right? You can even see the mullet. Look at that. It's business up front. Look, business up front, party in the back. Look at that.
If they show something where it's like, what is that? If everything is covered in insects, I think it's going to be hard to unsee that. I do not know what that creature is, and I'm kind of afraid to know what it is.
That is a moth, but I don't know what type of moth it is. I'm sure if I were to hear the name, then I would go, oh, okay, yeah.
It looks like a spider with like owl tufts out of the top of its head.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I can't remember what kind of moth it is, though. So it says, Dr. Wong said these contrasting patterns in terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems may reflect strategies for predator avoidance. Fish tend to hunt aquatic insects during the day, whereas nocturnal animals such as bats make life on land more hazardous at night. The analysis also highlighted the influence of environmental factors such as temperature on insect activity in the global scale. We found peak levels of nocturnal activity in the warmer regions of the world as more insects likely sought refuge from the heat of the day. Look at this. I could almost write this. But
you should have done the study.
That takes actual fundamental research, and I do not like chasing grants. Dr. Wong spoke to the lasting value of ecological field work to better understand insect activity patterns. Such research can be exhausting as traps need to be installed and replaced multiple times over days and nights across many different locations. I don't like the traps. I don't know. They trap stuff, and it sometimes harms them. But I guess insects, right? I don't know. One of these days, aliens, right? They're going to go, humans are insects.
Well, and they're going to be like, insects are the key. And they probably are key to the whole ecosystem.
Yep. Hey, Star Trek sent that probe back to Earth and had to talk with the whales. Let's keep going. Next article is over in Continuity Report. Oh, look. I did not intentionally do that. Star Trek Discovery.
That was odd.
Star Trek Discovery's Commander Raynor is the new Riker. To that I say, no. Just no. 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 Raynor has zero charisma on the same level as Riker. Oh my
As
God.
Riker, yeah.
So Mark Donaldson over at Screen Rant put this article together. Yeah. I just don't see it. You know, it has the same beard, yes. Doesn't have the same look. Gray hair. He's already been, you know, around the block for a considerable amount of time. And got demoted from captain to be commander because
His ears are different.
he derped. Yeah, a lot of people initially thought that he was human, particularly on the podcast, The Greatest Trek. They have since said, "Oh, okay." Other people have said that they're not human. They're not human. They're something else, but they have been mentioned once before. I don't know what species he is, but anyway. Star Trek Discovery's new number 1, Commander Rayner, Callum Keith Rennie, has a lot in common with Commander William T. Riker, Jonathan Frakes from Star Trek The Next Generation. In Star Trek Discovery Season 5, Episode 5, Mirrors, written by Joanna Lee and Carlos Sisko and directed by Jen McGowan, Rayner has to reluctantly take the center seat while Captain Michael Burnham is on an away mission. And reluctantly, no, not really. They were captain of their own ship, did something derpy, trying to catch 2 couriers, and then eventually got demoted for making a bad maneuver, which I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It was a plot mover, and I don't really like it. But anyway. So, formerly captain of the USS Antares, is unsure that his style will gel with his new crew. He knows it's not going to. And is basically a tool right out of the gate. And they sit there and they fight about it. So, but I don't... It says Rayner is reluctant to be captain like Riker in The Next Generation.
Okay, maybe that's that the characters are written similarly, but that doesn't mean they're similarly acted
and they're not similarly anything, because number 1 always was number 1. He never was captain until the show actually ended, and then he was given his own seat later on. He may have been put in charge, but he was never quote unquote captain. This dude started out as captain and has derped his way into being number 1 as a sacrifice. He fell on his own sword just to stay in Starfleet because his ego barely could withstand it. Riker was, for lack of a better phrase, a ladies' man, a player, and he did this Riker maneuver where he threw his leg over a seat, and he had charisma, and he had panache. He had people that love to hang out with him and stuff like that. Nobody wants to be around this guy. At least not right now, Rayner. He's closer to, well, I don't know. I don't know who he's closer to. He's closer to Worf than he is anybody else.
Yes, I would agree. That actually sounds consistent. Personality types.
Yeah, and not the new Worf, the old Worf, the rigid, combative, you know. Yeah. So anyway, his reasoning is different to Riker's because Rayner had already been a captain for years before becoming Burnham's number 1. Rayner is reluctant to take charge in Mirrors because it's not his crew, and his command style is very different to Burnham's, and he doesn't move out of his own way. Again, Worf. You know, this guy's easy to enrage. He's fast to, draw a weapon, kind of a shoot first, act first, and then pick up the pieces. He's closer, I think, to Worf than he is anybody else. Although I don't really want to ruin the show, but I easily can. Now he seems to be getting out of his own way, but up until his character development is faster than I'd ever seen any character pivot.
Well, they have to develop him fast because we're in the last season of Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah.
Like, this would be a good if they'd introduced him, say, in season 1 or something. I know that wouldn't have worked with the story, but
right.
Like, they don't have enough time to get him to wherever they're trying to get him to.
Yeah, I think it's pretty I think it sucks that Star Trek Discovery is ending, but I think the production costs are way too damn high for it to persist. They need to go back to Strange New Worlds, where each episode is in a can, and it doesn't come across as that futuristic, as opposed to this. Everything is super, super high tech, because
that's true.
the new timeline. But we'll see. I mean, the big problem here is that Star Trek has forever moved forward in its own timeline, meaning when it does fall back, it's almost so basic people go, ugh, I don't like this. But they jumped too far ahead. Strange New Worlds is in the same type of filming as Discovery, but it seems to be closer to something like the original series, or Next Generation. Obviously not the number, but so I don't know. I like the more bottle episodes than I do Discovery's massive leap into the future, where everything is so over the top, new, high tech, that they don't even talk to the computer to teleport from one place to another, right? They just tap their communicator twice, and suddenly the computer knows that they want to be on the bridge when they were in the infirmary. It doesn't make any sense to me. You're a wizard. Okay, let's keep going, though. This next article, unless you want to talk about that some more.
I was going to say I like the style of Discovery, but I fully appreciate what you're saying. They're very different. For instance, in Strange New Worlds.
Yeah, and I think that the people in Strange New Worlds has a lot of charisma. For whatever reason, there's something about Star Trek Discovery where it's contentious. It's constantly contentious. Always
there's a lot
fight.
Of like personal drama, it seems like, on Discovery.
True. Yeah. Although even on Star Trek Strange New Worlds, they have the doctor and the nurse. I can't remember their names right off the top of my head. They are from the same military organization. They were in combat, and so they deal with
Nurse Chapel, and I've forgotten the doctor's name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either. Daggone it. Yeah, those two were in the same military hospital, and they still deal with their PTSD.
Babanga?
Yeah, Babanga, yeah. Great personalities. The charisma is there. I mean, you can really tell that this is a different kind of show, at least in my estimation. I don't know. I like it. Let's keep going, though. This next article, this one will be quick. Daimler Truck braces for possible strike in 3 southern states. Around 7,200 workers with Daimler Truck in 3 southern U.S. states are poised Friday for a potential strike as labor contract talks headed down to the wire. So I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. But we shall see.
Do you want an update?
Yeah, sure, if it came in.
It looks like it's going to be averted, but I still think it's important to include this article, because if it's getting that close, that doesn't mean it won't occur in the near future. So
yeah, so these 3 states, it looks like representatives from the UAW and Daimler Truck have been in talks over a new contract to replace the one that expires at midnight Friday, and that was last night, for workers who build long-haul trucks and buses. In a webcast earlier this week, Fain hit out at Chairman Martin Daum over lofty executive pay and for steering extra cash to shareholder payouts instead of adequately compensating workers. Exactly what I keep saying.
This sounds like mayor what?
Golly. So the UAW won a landmark unionization drive on Volkswagen's Tennessee factory a week ago, adding the momentum after simultaneous strikes of Detroit's Big 3 car makers resulted in wage gains. Okay, Individuals have no bargaining power. The only time there's bargaining power against mega corporations is when they unionize. The amount of resistance that an organization gives towards unionization should be firm foundation material why you need a union. The only problem with unions sometimes is that the enumeration of certain duties means that you are relegated to doing exactly that and nothing more. You may or may not have increases in pay based on performance. Sometimes it becomes political, your migration or matriculation through the levels. And you can sometimes be invited not to return, union-wise or not. And even the union would endorse it because you're a detractor from the overall performance of the union. And in the process of unionization, sometimes jobs go away because the company says, well, we will only afford, if you're going to increase salaries, then you're going to have to lose some people. And so they riff or they downsize in some way. Union be damned. They will just cut people. But automation is going to make unions even more difficult because robots don't unionize. Well, not yet. So it says nobody wants to strike, but we're prepared to if necessary. It's very hard to eat when you don't have any money coming in. Green, who worked at the company for 22 years and is a UAW vice president, said in a phone interview, in December of 2021, Daimler Truck was spun off from Mercedes-Benz, which retains about a 30% stake in the truck company, probably because they saw the writing on the wall that, yeah. So that's pretty much it. I mean, there really isn't much to this. And so we'll update you when something changes, maybe tomorrow.
There has been an update today, but I think this impacts obviously the workers, but it also impacts consumers. Like every time something like this happens,
prices.
What's the impact of right, exactly, or delays, or right, supply chain disruptions, things like that.
This is really interesting. Oh, so it says has vowed to strike at Daimler sites comprised of 4 industrial sites in North Carolina, 1 each in Tennessee and Georgia, if key demands are not met. So the union is consolidated to these 4 primary, or all 6 primary locations. They say 3 states, right? But it's really 6 locations, most of which are in North Carolina. When you have consolidated power, then you have influence. And if the UAW has all of Daimler sites unionized, well, guess what? When a strike comes, it actually has authority. So I wouldn't be surprised if Daimler starts breaking up the locations.
Well, that's going to be interesting.
Because then they have to unionize in each of these places. It may not be conducive, so I don't know. It increases operating costs, but they'll just charge more, and then the world has to pay more, or the country has to pay more for all of the stuff. And you basically, it's like the CEO of Reddit said, "You'll be back." You know, it just doesn't matter. You'll be back. We can do whatever we want to.
Which is just such an awful attitude toward workers or consumers.
True. Yep.
It's like we can do anything we want without repercussion.
Yep.
And you'll still be singing our praises.
Yeah. Eventually, you'll be singing our praises because you have a very small memory. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Marble Channel. Cicada Palooza. Billions of bugs to blanket America. They're loud. It says that they're sexually aroused. And for one special cacophonous month, up to 1 trillion of them will engulf suburbs and woodlands across America.
But will there be more at night?
33% more. Cicada Palooza. I think their name is Issam Ahmed over at phys.org. Put this article together. 2 cicada broods are set for a rare double emergence that last occurred in 1803 when Thomas Jefferson was president of the United States, purchased Louisiana from France. That's where we got cicadas from? Just kidding. I don't know where they came from. The prospect of another
They must have come with the deal.
Yeah, really. Please, take these. The prospect of another natural wonder just weeks after a total solar eclipse means nothing, folks. There is nothing there. Don't get all caught up in the game, you goobers. I mean, it's
Good
so
for
silly.
interest in science, but they have nothing to do with each other.
Nothing to do with each other. Across much of the country has gripped scientists and the public alike. Insects of history. Yeah, cicadas comprise a diverse family of over 3,000 insect species found globally, with the majority of their lives spent underground in a larval state. Much like a gamer. This year's event involves the 13-year brood. 19? Is that how it actually gets referred to, as 19?
Mm-hmm.
Currently emerging in the Carolinas, followed by the 17-year brood. 13?
13.
But it's, so the 13-year brood. Okay, why? Never mind. I don't care.
That's odd, yeah.
Yeah, so there could be a small area of overlap in central Illinois. So, okay, so it's going to barely overlap in central Illinois. So it's not really going to be...
Yeah, but if you're in central Illinois, you're going to see a ton of cicadas, and hear a ton of cicadas, probably more significantly.
Oof. When they do come out, they come out in big numbers. Parents get excited. The kids get excited. Are we talking about the cicadas or the humans?
This is supposed to be about the humans watching the cicadas emerge.
Oh no, I don't want to watch. Come on, you cover your eyes. You're going out into their room, for crying out loud. Don't watch. That's weird. Said entomologist Gene Kritsky of, well, I guess I won't yuck your yum. Whatever you're into. Anyway, entomologist Gene Kritsky of Mount St. Joseph University. Oh wait, let me back it up. The Mount St. Joseph University, who developed the Cicada Safari app for citizen scientists to gather data, explaining the appeal of the harmless red-eyed bugs. You know, they're not harmless if they fly into your face. All right.
Okay, but how many times is that happening?
So many times. If I had a dime for every time a cicada hit me in the face, and my doctor said that I can't have any more cicadas hitting me in the face. In a recent paper published in Science, Lil and colleagues revealed a number of broader impacts on the wider ecosystem. They found that the 2021 emergence of Brood 10 in the capital Washington, okay, proved a windfall for insectivorous birds. They couldn't say insectivore or insectivorous? Okay. Leading to a surge in caterpillar populations as the birds focused on feasting on the cicadas. It's a bigger meal. This reprieve allowed caterpillars to thrive, resulting in increased consumption of oak saplings. Oh no. Other new research showed that mast years, when oak trees produce an abundance of acorns, follow like clockwork 2 years after cicada emergence. More acorns support larger populations of the mammals that feed on them, ultimately leading to more Lyme disease risk for humans because of ticks.
Hooray!
Oh, great. So look at that. The circle of life all starts with 2 broods of, cicadas. Wow.
I love that the sheriff's office is getting calls about the noise.
Yeah, hey, can you tell the damn cicadas to keep it down? Wow. One hand, many historic broods have been lost to rampant deforestation, but the remaining broods are flourishing in suburban environments where well-lit trees provide ideal conditions for females to lay their eggs. Let's get it on. I only have cicada eyes for you.
It looks like it's looking backwards.
It is. That right there, I think, is its pupil. I think it's kind of like praying mantis.
Oh, okay.
I think its eyes can pivot. and is like looking at you going, "Come at me, bro. I got a water drop on my back."
Yeah, I don't know how they got a picture of that, but maybe it was just happenstance.
It might be AI. It's probably not. All right, folks, let's keep on chugging through our show. This next article is over in the Warcrafters channel. Tarkov Studio claims it actually doesn't have the server capacity for everyone who bought the game for $150 to play its upcoming PvE, which is the environment, player versus environment mode. PvP is player versus player. PvE is player versus environment. Anyway, they still want players to pay extra money. In what has rapidly eclipsed Fallout 4's mod-breaking next-gen update, in the biggest unforced error of the week in gaming PC, Escape from Tarkov dev Battlestate is still holding firm that players who bought the $150 Edge of Darkness edition of the game will not have access to an upcoming PvE mode in the game, one where your progress persists between server wipes, no less. That feature...
So does that mean it's going to wipe that out?
It'll wipe out your progress between server wipes.
That's kind of a problem.
Yeah, live server stuff, they don't give a shit. Yeah. And you supposedly go in knowing it. So it's interesting, right? So, and you're held hostage if you don't have an actual server that you are in control of. Stop killing games. Yeah, thank you. So that feature was announced as part of a new $250 Unheard edition, even though the $150 Edge of Darkness edition promised access to all future DLC for Tarkov.
Sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yeah, it's a bait and switch. So they're changing the terms, and people are going to keep on gobbling this up because they're in love with this game. So Ted Litchfield over at PCGamer.com put the article together. The deck statement says, Battlestate Games continues to assert that this upcoming mode does not constitute DLC, downloadable content, and is thus not part of the $150 bundle.
What are you paying for in the $150?
I don't know, suffering?
Yeah, probably.
In a statement shared on the Tarkov subreddit, Battlestate offered some conciliatory new pricing options for the PvE mode, and also claimed that the mode's servers won't be able to handle the traffic from every 150 EOD player in early access.
Maybe add some servers or get more robust servers.
Hey, the title of this segment is Better Spin Up Another Server Then.
Uh-huh.
So the second paragraph...
you figured it out, but not Battlestate.
Yeah, well, I'm not a millionaire in the game industry, right? At this stage, it's not possible to launch all players who are EOD holders. Right now, we simply do not have the required amount of resources for this, but you buttheads, people have been paying $150. Says
yeah, where were those resources going?
Yeah. Prepare for battle there, Battlestate. Battlestate also says that it'll offer a separate standalone purchase of the PvE mode, so that
yeah, so they can price it separately and charge people more, right?
What the hell?
But they don't have enough servers, or server space, etc.
So that any player of any version of Escape from Tarkov can have the opportunity to test the PvE mode. Whatever the price of the standalone pack will be, Battlestate says the $150 EOD purchasers will get a $70 off discount.
70%.
Oh, 70%. Sorry. 70% off discount. Forgive me. So, yeah, it says, the article here says, I'm still hung up on this DLC feature distinction that Battlestate is burning all of its goodwill to uphold. Okay, let's say it is a feature and not a DLC. Shouldn't a feature added to an early access game be even less of a vector for monetization? I've paid $20 for games in EA that have never asked for another dime while adding new stuff. No Man's Sky, for instance, has been going a decade without asking for another penny. This is just pure greed, based on the people loving this particular game and them determining that y'all will not balk. Stop killing. First off, stop killing games. Give us a server so that we can control it. We're paying hundreds of dollars. Get the hell out of our way. We pay for the game. You don't even own it. And here's the thing about this. We're going to talk about this later on. Because what happens when something gets delisted? A game gets delisted. What happens when...
Stop killing games.
We'll be saying that again and again. So it says, the thing is, Tarkov, for all of its success, is still a relatively niche game that relies on word of mouth and community goodwill. Battlestate needs its players more than those players need Tarkov. It's in the studio's best interest to resolve this quickly as possible, no matter what it has to concede to players. And honestly, I think it needs to just lower its freaking price, invest its money properly so it has, dividends from your investments so that you can pay for the damn servers. If you're going to dominate the market with your servers and demand that your servers are the nexus, then you had better provide the service. All of us are operating in good faith with the expectation of performance. So, and all of that can be written up in a paragraph submitted to an attorney to say, I think that this should be a class action. And there's one good gaming attorney out there that just might gobble that up and say, let's fire this shot across their bow. Yeah, this is a lot of money. $250, $150, even $70 for the game, I think is too much. But some people gobble it up. Stop killing
games.
There you go. Yeah. Escape from Tarkov in and of itself is not my style of game, even though it is a first-person shooter. I don't like really hyper-realistic first-person shooters. But a PvE version of it, where you are trying to overcome some environmental objective, yeah, maybe. But I don't know. Even that, I'm not into shooting at people. Let's keep going though. I'll play a game every once in a while, but it's really not my bag. So the next article is over on ohmTown Daily. Oh, and by the way, we actually have a show that focuses not just on that, but Warcrafters is about first-person shooters, RTSs, but it's FPSs and crafting, so it's more about survival base building kind of games like Icarus. Anyway, this next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Archaeologists reveal 1,800-year-old sculpture of ancient snake-bodied deity. And if you're not familiar with this, let me just say, James Earl Jones hasn't been around us since 2016. But this is basically Conan the Barbarian and Thulsa Doom. The stone object is thought to depict a hybrid creature that mixes elements of Roman and Germanic mythology, and it is a 1,800-year-old sculpture of an ancient snake-bodied deity. So, in the Conan lore, Thulsa Doom had the ability to transform into a snake, a very large snake. And there's actually there's a cinematic universe that does this, and the comic book is different. Graphic novel, mom. Anyway, the archaeologists recently discovered this 1,800-year-old sculpture. The sandstone artifact came to light during excavations of the Bad Cannstatt borough in Stuttgart, the capital and largest city of the German state of Baden-Württemberg. In Roman times, the excavation site was home to a fort from around AD 100 to 150, where a military cavalry unit was based. Oh yeah, okay. So an extensive civilian settlement subsequently developed in the second and third. See, we build on top of our refuse, basically.
Well, that's right. And that's how we find things, right? We're doing construction and then we're like, oh, what's this under here?
Yeah, just dig down a little bit. I find it really interesting that this thing is supposed to resemble a snake-bodied deity. I'm glad that there are people out there that are absolutely skilled in the art. It says, despite the stone being heavily weathered, the figure's arms are visible on the sides of the upper body, with its hands resting on its hips, and the legs appear to merge into the form of a snake. And then they say, due to weathering, the poor quality of the stone, the snakes on our piece are unfortunately very difficult to see. This was, of course, easier to recognize in ancient times due to the colorful painting.
Okay, so it's not just us. Like, it is tough to see from this photo.
Yeah. Let me see if I can blow it up a little bit. Nope. All right. It actually got smaller when I clicked on it. So
it looks
yeah,
like you can see more detail where the person is holding it than where it's just by itself.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it looks closer to the Speak No Evil monkeys.
Yes, exactly.
But maybe if you hold it in a different orientation, it makes more sense. Like, I can't make out what this is right here. This can't be that. But
no, I feel like that's maybe an example of another one that was found.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Let's keep going, though. The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Investigation underway after freight train carrying fuel derails, igniting large fire.
Well, trains continue to be allergic to the tracks.
Yep. And we don't report that much on them all the time now because they don't actually get reported out, but the incidents apparently still happen with regularity. Back in 2022, there were over 2,000 derailments and derail incidents. They may not be full derailments, but there are incidents with the rails. This is brand new. BNSF freight train derailed on Friday at 1:45 p.m. Mountain near Manuelito, New Mexico, I guess it's pronounced, according to the National Transportation Safety Board. The information here is from abcnews.go.com. Meredith DeLizo is the author. A 2-mile evacuation was issued following the derailment. So that must be community. Is that community over there? I don't know how off in the distance this is. I'm gonna hit play and just mute it. Yeah, they're not really showing anything. It set a fire.
It looks like it's like houses right behind it.
Is that what that looks like to you?
It does. I don't know if it is.
Like over there, right? Up on that hill behind it, or down here. I don't know. It's weird.
Behind it in the picture.
Yeah, they don't really show. So, way over here. But all right. So, 2 of the tank cars caught fire. The NTSB said no injuries were reported. The agency said, yeah, probably because there wasn't anybody on that train when there could have been more people, but they keep cutting back the number of people that are on trains. There were
residents within a 2-mile radius of the derailment, so I'd say they're pretty close.
Oh, okay, got it. So the Federal Railroad Administration is leading the investigation into the derailment. The agency said Saturday investigators with the FRA responded to the derailment on Friday, according to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. So the train was carrying gasoline and non-odorous propane, according to New Mexico State Police. Heavy black smoke could be seen following the derailment as the train cars burned. They don't know exactly what it is yet. They're working to clear the site as safely as possible. The cause of the derailment is under investigation, the freight railroad said. So yeah, 2,000 plus derailments. I think it was in 2022.
By the way, it looks like the land around that in general is Navajo owned.
Yeah, it says, in fact, right when you started talking about that, it says the evacuation order impacted parts of the Navajo Nation. Our deepest concern is for the safety and well-being of our citizens and those directly affected by the incident. Navajo Nation President Buu Nagren, I think, said in a statement on Friday, quote, at this time, we urge everyone to stay clear of the affected area to allow emergency and hazmat teams to manage the situation efficiently. So, yeah. So they say that is a low risk, which, again, fine, that's great. But it's like one of those statements where the kid says, well, nothing happened, mom. I spilled water, or I, broke this or whatever, but nobody was hurt. It's not that big of a deal. But no, just because you have the dumb luck that nobody got hurt doesn't mean stupidity wasn't involved in this, incompetence wasn't involved with this, negligence wasn't, greed wasn't involved with this. More of the safety check should have been in place to prevent this from happening. Once they find out what it is, if they can find out what it is, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff. Well, we couldn't have known. Well, no, bullshit. You could have been doing safety checks with greater regularity. I mean, we check our food like shrimp, 1% of the total imports. And when it really should be 50%, because we have this trust in our food supply. Well, we have this trust in the greed that perpetuates this. There shouldn't be 2,000 train derailments. And that was the stats that we have been talking about for the last 3 years.
Right, and at least from the picture, there's nothing that clearly shows, it would be one thing if there was I don't know, a snowstorm or something, or
Right.
something external acting on it. At least from the picture, it doesn't appear that they were under extreme weather conditions, but they could have been.
Yeah, I mean, like flash, whatever. But to derail a train, if they're so sensitive to the weather, I think that they need to spend the billions and bolster the infrastructure to be able to drive over, whatever caused it to derail. I mean, I don't understand. Look, I understand the physics of it. I know why trains are built the way that they're built, but we need to make them more robust, because when this happens again in civilized area, right, 2 miles away, to me is too close to a fuel explosion.
Well, absolutely. And people are closer than that. I'm just saying they evacuated a 2-mile radius, which
Right.
means people are clearly within that.
Yeah. There's
arena.
a 68-year-old that's been on the streets now for 3 days because of this. That's basically what they're saying. And so to me, I'm like, there's absolutely no reason why a train shouldn't be locked onto that track so it can't flip over. But I understand the physics of why carriages are built the way they are. And they're primarily built so that they can make turns, by the way. The reason why they sit on the track and they have that weird angle of the wheel on the track, it's entirely so that it can go around turns. But I really think that it should be more akin to a roller coaster where the hub is locked in and can't easily derail. But again, there's a whole lot of physics involved there, and a catastrophic accident of something that's locked in can be even more harmful. Anyway, let's keep trucking. Oh, never mind.
I can't think of a comparable term for trains.
Yeah. Let's stay on the tracks.
Rolling.
Choo choo. Let's go. This next thing is akin to painting a bus stop on the road, so that you can catch people that might have dementia from hopping on a bus and leaving town. Japanese police create fake support scam payment cards to warn victims. And this is like one of those things where a little bit of prevention goes a long way. This raises awareness that this can actually take place. It's pretty harmless. It feels like a cruel exercise. But it says Japanese police placed fake payment cards in convenience stores to protect the elderly targeted by tech support scams or unpaid money fraud. So Bill Thulsa over at bleepingcomputer.com put this article together. And it says here the cards were labeled Virus Trojan Horse Removal Payment Card and Unpaid Bill Late Fee Payment Card, and were created by the Ichizen police in the Fukui Prefecture in Japan as an alert mechanism. Their purpose is to warn elderly victims of seeking payment cards at the instructions of fraudsters. And so it says in January 2024, there were 14 complaints regarding investment scams with an estimated damage of $700,000. The Fukui Prefecture suffered around $7.5 million in financial losses last year due to various forms of online fraud. And it's because the elderly take it at face value when something pops up on their screen or they get an alert and they don't do any due diligence. I would love to have a service that facilitated this. I would absolutely spin up an organization that did one thing: market to the elderly. This is where you reach out if somebody texts you, emails you, certain things. We can't provide tech support, but we can tell you if something
beware
is
of opening that door.
Yeah, exactly. Mainly because it ends up being hyper local, but and there's a lot of fraud in that.
Did you plug in your computer?
Have you turned it off and on again? Did you back up your computer and then they stretch the cord all the way to the other side of the house and say, is it going to blow up? There's this cartoon that says, did you back up? Why? Is it going to explode? So store employees have been briefed about the purpose of the dummy cards, and when customers attempt to purchase them, they explain to the purchaser that they've been targeted in a scam. Pretty heavy lift.
I mean, that's kind of sophisticated, but I can't say I disagree with it. And when I first saw the headline, I thought, this doesn't look good, but...
Yeah, that's neat. And I'm not quite sure of the culture directly, but I've always been told that the people take care of the elderly quite a bit in Japan. Not necessarily everywhere, but in Japan in particular, they take care of the elderly. But the youth is actually moving away and moving into higher tech areas and stuff like that. So not everybody is nowadays. So it's quite interesting that they're relying on giving notification. They're giving notification by way of the people at the stores. So hopefully the people in the stores are like, yeah, I care enough at this minimum wage gig to hash it out.
According to this, they've helped people who've actually picked these up, and then they've explained to them they're being scammed, and I think that's fantastic. But you're right, it does rely on the store clerk.
Yeah, and this has cultural relativism written all over it. You put these in a gas station in the United States, and you've got a 50-50 chance maybe that the gas station attendant themselves is part of the scam.
Right, or I don't know. Or they're like, oh, there's a target coming up to the counter. Let me see. Yeah, which obviously it's not good.
Yeah, it should have a little arrow pointing down saying, just buy a protein bar and delete the message.
Right.
Okay, folks. Poor guy. All right. So the next article is over in ohmTown Daily. It's the last one for ohmTown Daily News Show tonight, but a Connecticut man with a private FAA-approved airstrip and hangar has hit the market for only $2.9 million. Let's go take a look. Business Insider is really great at doing these things, so let's jump straight on over. Lauren,
they'll actually have photos of the place.
And yeah, I mean, they're really high quality pictures too. So definitely go. Wow, I have this thing zoomed in at 160%. You can see this thing from orbit.
We can see what's flying in the sky or whatever. Oh, maybe it's a plane from the airstrip.
Oh my gosh. This is actually, mowing this lawn has to cost a lot. But I guess you don't care.
Yeah, do you think they do it themselves, or do you think they have a service?
And they have one of those push ones too. They're there all week, and then they start next week.
Well, then they're going to run out of power or whatever. They're going to have to keep starting over.
No, it's a manual mower. The one with the little threshing wheel, that cuts.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And they just start on Monday.
I was thinking of electric, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, an electric mower would have to be plugged into a nuclear generator to give it enough power. That's impossible. Anyway, this looks like a huge house. 3-bedroom, 4-bath. Has hit the market in Connecticut, $2.9 million. The home features the only FAA-approved paved airstrip in the state. It also features an airplane hangar, among other amenities. Why? Okay, never mind. I don't. There's all kinds of reasons, I suppose. But living out there, away from everybody, to the point where you have to have an airplane to fly in and out, maybe? I mean, it seems really... What do you do for 99% of the time? Because it's not like you can just hop in the plane and fly out each day.
Well, I mean, how far are you from civilization? We don't know. You know,
So,
you could be 10 minutes from a town or something.
the 3-bedroom, 4-bath home is located down a long, winding driveway intersected with an 1,800-foot-long airstrip in Bristol. I don't know where Bristol is. Property records viewed by Business Insider showed the land is owned by Barbara Hackman Franklin, a former U.S. Secretary of Commerce, and her late husband, Wallace Barnes.
I don't think it's still owned by him.
In spirit. Oof. Too soon. So the home, dubbed Skybite, spans thousands of square feet in the Chippens Hill neighborhood. It's 45 acres. The total space, 49-acre lot.
49 acres. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, I could do that. This could be the new mayoral mansion. So people arriving at Skybite will notice the natural charms and scenic views. The home is surrounded by a sprawling yard that offers privacy via nearby trees. No. Yeah, it's huge. Hold on a second. Wait. Oh, it's an 1800. It's, according to the listing, the contemporary style home measures 5,654 square feet and was built in 1988. That doesn't look like 5,600 square feet, right?
No, it doesn't, but it's just the way it's laid out, I guess.
Maybe this gives it like the apparent... There's a breezeway basically connecting one wing to another wing, but maybe that's what is making it seem like it has girth. And then it has this outside, what do you call it?
Maybe like a covered, I don't know, covered patio or covered porch
it's a greenhouse.
or something.
It's an attached greenhouse.
Oh, okay.
Little mini greenhouse. And then off to one side and down on like a lower level kind of a thing, it looks like a commercial parking lot.
It looks like a helicopter pad or something. I don't know what it is. But...
No helicopter pad there. So in every room, the strategic placement of window frames, the landscape is like a living masterpiece, ensuring that the beauty of each season is celebrated around the year round. The listing reads, so it's all marketing. But the big thing, I guess, about this thing is that it's the only FAA-approved landing strip in Connecticut.
I imagine that's going to sell pretty fast because of that. I mean, it looks like a nice property, but yeah, the standout is the airstrip.
It's still for sale. Bristol is about 30 minutes away by plane from New York City and 90 minutes away from Washington, D.C., except that once you land in some place in D.C., you still have an hour and a half of drive to get to D.C. One garage at Skybite doubles as a small airplane hangar. Okay, so it's not actually and a hangar. It has a hangar that is a garage. Oh, and that's
weird.
But
I think there's more than one garage. It says one garage.
Yeah, so I think that right there is the hangar garage, and that right there is the regular two-car garage. Okay. Oh, and that's why I said it looks like a commercial parking area. It's because that's where your plane parks.
Turn your plane around or whatever.
Yeah, weird. Called it. Okay. Yeah, I knew what I was looking at, but I didn't know what I was looking at, Interesting. So, yeah, that's all there is to it, really. I mean, there isn't really much more. It's got this huge open floor plan, but this, I think, is above the I think this is above the hangar.
Oh, above the hangar? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're having like a dinner party or something, is the plane rumbling beneath you? I don't know.
Yeah, only if the husband or who the wife, I don't know, one of the two in the relationship, well, not the husband anymore.
Hopefully not the husband.
You know. So, yeah. Oh my god. Well, I mean, it's Connecticut, so you have to have an indoor pool if you're going to have a pool.
Correct. So you don't have to have an indoor pool, but in that state, you probably need to have an indoor pool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the gym, so this is a nice house. I'm stuck because it doesn't have any blinds anywhere as far as the eye can see. So, but I also don't.
There aren't any people around.
Yeah, but there's going to be some creep that's going to be walking on the hill, you know, or whatever. Binoculars.
If you can afford a private airstrip, you can probably afford all kinds of security measures.
Yeah.
Like blinds.
Yeah. Surface to surface missile. Future homeowners will get access to an office and a study. I don't like that office layout, but okay. Skybite offers a once-in-a-lifetime living experience. Well, at least for one person. Too soon. Okay, well, that's it, folks. We are done with ohmTown Daily News Show. Thanks for coming and hanging out and chat if you are in chat. Be sure to follow us here on twitch.tv/ohmTown. Go over to YouTube and follow us there. I am now posting shorts all over the place, but before I go, we race down Main Street. And I'd refresh, but no, I'm not gonna. Normally we do. Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it. Oh, I can? Okay, so this is how it normally works. We just we smack the little welcome to ohmTown sign, and there you go. A whole bunch of new news. That's it. I am Merwatt, and all around is the sentient AI from the future. Well, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Come back soon. We have several weekly episodes coming up.
Yeah, so after this show, we have Reality Hacker, Wanted, and Warcrafters, and we'll try and get those done in about an hour's time, kind of like this show, except that I rambled for the last 5 minutes. See you in a bit. Hey, sentient AI from the future, I'm gonna need to buy a plane.